Kennen here. You guys realize that that's really not the best position for you to be in, all the way up on that tower, gankable from either side of the river. And so you're going to go up and take a look at Baron and hopefully try to grab a gank off in this top bush here.
Let me ask you a question real quick. What's your timer?
2609.
Oh, jeez, so much ahead of me.
Yeah.
And they don't have like a slider bar that I can just click.
Oh, I know. You found Jarvan trying to take down the little golems there, and you scare him off of that path, denying him that extra XP, denying him that creep score. We see Ashe, Sona, and Annie down on bottom take out Vayne without a problem. And Hero is just going to back off from that. So the score is 8-10. Things are working pretty heavily in Team SYN BYN's favor here. What's going through your team's mind at this point? What are you focusing on? What do you identify that you need to change?
Well, we need to change the way that obviously that we approach them as we're in lanes, like not specifically as fighting, but as how we like harass them and get them off our towers. We realize that we either need to kill them and get it over with, or we need to just play so defensively that they cannot, you know, continue on and keep taking our towers.
Okay.
And then at this point, we're realizing we need to hit some team fights. We should have the advantage, because we have, you know, that silence, that stun, actually 2 to 3 stun, 4 if you count Vayne's. And so you know, we're feeling pretty strong about that.
Do you think your relative unsuccess in teamfights so far is because you don't really have a dedicated tank at this point, with Hero building for a damage output role? I see.
It wasn't really more of that. It was just how we were going into it. You'll see later on that we have Kennen.
Oh, we see Kennen go in on Annie right there as you were mentioning that. That was pretty much picture perfect with your entire team there. Annie was not getting out of that alive, and you are able to chase Ashe and Sona off for quite a ways. She ends up having to use her ult defensively on Vayne. That puts her at a great disadvantage. We see Kennen trying to 2v1 here. Wow. Vlad may not get away from this, and Tarek can get within range of that stun. He does not, and both Vlad and Jarvan were able to get out of that in what I would imagine they thought to be an easily winnable fight, quickly turned against them with the close proximity of your team.
And what's your timer again, just so I can try to adjust accordingly?
28:45.
Alright, I'm a little bit ahead of you. I just let my thing run while you were talking, so I'm at 31:18, but I'll just let it go in super slow-mo.
Okay.
Catch up eventually.
Yep, for sure. We're seeing you have a heavy push here in mid. You picked up 2 extra kills, so you're even on the kills now. You're even on towers. Once again, it's anybody's game. Looks like you guys just noticed that your creep wave was pushing up against their bottom tower, and so you're bringing your entire team down here to try to take that down. One hit from you and it was done for. We see you taking out a ward by Dragon. That's 25 gold in your guys' favor, 75 gold away from them. Always a smart move to have somebody with an Oracle on your team. Generally the support to try to take out those enemy wards.
And let me just mention another thing about the jungle is that we've taken nearly every dragon, and that's going to provide 190 gold to 5 people. Now that's more. That's in my thinking. That's better than, you know, getting 1 or 2 kills, because your 190 gold across 5 people is going to progress your team that much further instead of that one person.
Oh, definitely. And I'm not going to say it's risk-free, but it's definitely a lot better than trying to get all 5 people in on a team fight. If you can find them out of position for just long enough to get the hits in on Dragon, that gold advantage will really start to add up. And not keeping control on Dragon, while it may not be very punishing in the early game, because if you realize the other person is taking it, you have time to react. In the late game, it takes only seconds for Dragon to go down. We're seeing a huge team fight happen here in mid. Seeing people drop left and right. Vladimir's about to go down. The Ashe Arrow Initiate was not a very at that point. Jarvan throws his ult down, manages not to get a single kill off of it, and he's going to drop as he traps all 4 members of your team in with him. That's what I call a Thunderdome beatdown.
Yes. Now, if you want to look at Jarvan's items, there's also another reason why he doesn't really have any defense yet. He's playing the role of the tank. He has a Wriggles, a Heart of Gold, and Merc Treads, and a Negaton Cloak. I mean, that's going to provide you great with a little bit of health and a little bit of MR, but it's not going to get you much further than that.
Yeah, those, I would say that is a defensive build I would find acceptable at maybe the 20-minute mark, but certainly not the 31.
Yeah. They definitely don't have the global gold output that we have because we've obviously taken, you know, 2 dragons and we've kept on top of our jungle while stealing theirs when
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say that they that you definitely have a just a general creep score advantage as well. Even Tarek closing in on almost 50 creep kills. That is just so devastating in the long term. You're going to pick up another dragon here. Like I said, only seconds it took you. While they were on the defensive and no way to react. We see the EV pop up way too late to do anything about it. We're going to see Vayne here probably pick up this red again. Actually, I imagine SYN picked it up on accident, knowing that it's probably better on Vayne.
Are you at around the 32-20 mark?
I am. Sure? I'm at 32-25.
Alright, good, okay. Alright, I'm just a couple seconds behind you, but that's fine.
Alright, apologies to all of our watchers for these technical difficulties. Things will get a lot better as spectator mode comes out to the general public.
Oh, thank God, I cannot wait for spectator mode.
I know, I keep having to tab up for this creep score screen, and then, you know, it just completely wipes out the action.
Yep. But yeah, as later game comes, you know, if Tarek needs to go and defend the lane, say we got, you know, 2 creep waves pushing up on our 1 at bottom, Tarek can just go down and shatter and, you know, get a couple free CS and keep that lane pushed back.
Definitely, and Tarek is extremely sustainable right now with his Catalyst and his Chalice. Wherever he needs to be, he can be there. And his Ionian boots means that he's going to be really, really effective at whatever he decides he wants to do.
Yes. Another thing that you notice is that he has a little eye above his head, which means oracles if you're new. If you just picked up this game, then you wouldn't know what it means. But,
if you just picked up this game, stop watching this.
Have our yes, basically.
Go play the game, please.
Yes. But basically, you'll see that we always have our supports pick up our oracles, or if our supports cannot simply afford it because they're dying, or they keep buying it and they're wasting gold because they're, you know, dying, we'll have our tankiest person pick it up, or our person with the least amount of deaths.
Yeah, it seems that Jarvan went all in on that oracle earlier and he paid for it. That's a 400 gold loss, especially on someone who is not tanky yet. And just looking at his score here, 1 and 3, not the person you want the oracle on.
Now you see that we have Hero Bottom duking it out with Jarvan, and we the rest of us come up top. We basically try to achieve split pushing, and split pushing obviously is when you push 2 lanes at the same time. But we just decided this way would probably be best. We didn't really see them as a threat coming to, you know, Hero Sakamoto playing SYN, because they're like, oh, he's SYN, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, we see the Ash Arrow go all in on delete up there. And we're gonna see back and forth. You kited them away from their tower, which is gonna give you the advantage. You take off out of, you take out Annie relatively handily. Vayne sees the opportunity to go in on Vladimir, takes it, and we're gonna see this.
Diving in on the rest.
We're probably going to see this tower go down in your favor, even though you do die as a result of all that.
In all honesty, that death was totally worth it. We a little bit ahead, we get 2 turrets.
I want to point out that it is only worth it if you type it out in chat.
Damn it! I didn't type it out in chat. That's what I forgot.
Sorry about that.
You'll see that we progressed on 2 towers.
Yep.
That gives us an extra 380 gold. I don't know, my math's really bad, so.
Yeah. We just saw the ace pop up. Sona was not able to defend against the 3 team members up there, and Jarvan coming in way too late with way too few resistances and health. there's nothing he could do there. I think going in there was
Bottom's
a bad
also
mistake.
going down to, yes, you'll see that Bottom's actually dying fairly quickly to SYN. It's going to be going down for another 190 gold to Team MOZ.
Yep.
We're going to go invade their jungle now, as any team should when the odds are in their favor. Put the team behind them that much more.
I want to point out, you may not have focused on this, but it's something that I want to emphasize. Your split push was between the two side lanes. I see a lot of people in game, they say, well, let's split push. And my response to that is, why are we split pushing in a mid lane? It takes them 2 seconds to get from mid to top or mid to bottom.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is actually a big thing. It's actually a huge thing, and depending on the route they take. Say if you're split pushing the first tower of top lane and the first tower of bottom lane, that's a good 20-30 seconds you have to run, depending on your run speed, and if you have rift walking capabilities like Caston or tumbling and all that jazz. And it's definitely a huge gap that you got to close.
We see some offensive wards being placed at Team SYN BYN's blue and up by their base there. And that's always a good thing too. If you know you're going to have a team fight up top, if you know you're going to put a heavy push in, bring wards. Place them on your way back. And
I hate to bring up DreamHack, but in DreamHack you always saw 1 to 2 people with 1 to 2 wards on them at all times. At all times.
Yep.
And another thing that they really emphasize is their top lane would always pick teleport. This is another European meta, and as you see, we're baiting Baron.
Yep. Was just about to point that out. I was going to talk right over you like a jerk.
Well, I'll take this one for you. In a couple seconds, we will be engaging, if I remember this correctly, and they will be backing out.
Now, why did they back off there? I don't see why they backed off, even though they put a ward down. That's definitely not keeping you from doing anything at all here.
Well, in all honesty, I mean, they have lost the past 2 team fights, and it really has not gone in their favor. As you see, we'll actually engage them again because they'll also sneak up and steal it. Kennen going in with the OCB, silencing Annie. Annie dropping like a bag of rocks. Us chasing Vladimir and Ash.
The most interesting thing about that, and I had to giggle, was Hero dragon kicking Jarvan out of the fight completely right when it started.
Yes.
Amazing
It's actually
move.
A huge thing. It was very stellar on his part, and that would be game with a 4-1 surrender.
Yep. Sorry, Team SYN BYN, you lose a couple points there for surrendering. I don't like to see that, especially in these big tournament games.
Well, not much you can do.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, I mean, if you know you're obviously going to lose, say, like 0 to 15, I mean, what are you going to do?
Fair enough. With that, we will conclude the Game 1. Catch us after the jump for Game 2.
Woo!